Good morning, everybody. Jack O'Malley with my weekly update. A little bit, normally I do them on Wednesday. Had a lot going yesterday, so here it is. I'm just going to release it here and put it out Thursday morning. So a little bit late, but still weekly. I want to touch base on some things that are coming through the office and things that I've been working on, and just to update you on things that are happening. Yesterday we got word there is a budget deal. Of course, we have to have something signed by the end of the month to fund next year. We did the school budget and things earlier in the year so that the schools knew what was going on. But the rest of the budget, there was debate and discussion. It's billions of dollars. So I'm not on appropriation, so I don't know all the details. I'm understanding that they are kind of going through the House, the Senate, and the governor's team have come to an agreement. They're now checking numbers and doing all of that stuff. We'll be, as legislators, will be getting an update here shortly, I would think, in the next day or so, as to what that looks like, and probably be voting on things next week. But it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good budget. I know Thomas Albert, who is the House Appropriations Chair, and his team have been working hard. So more details on that as I get them. But and then, just so you know, the plan was budget, and then all the COVID money would come in supplementals. So that we could get the budget taken care of, and then we could focus on where all that COVID money was going. So I think that was a good plan. So just so you know, that's how things are stacking up. A couple things that are going on. Yesterday in Oversight Committee, we heard from Representative John DeMoose. He has a bill that basically says, hey, if between these dates, if UIA made any mistakes, any goof ups, and that would cost you to have to repay your unemployment benefits, the state will cover it. And there's going to probably be a couple of substitutes to that to make a few more specific, narrow it down so that somebody who committed fraud doesn't automatically get paid, that kind of stuff, little things like that. But I'm 100% for it. We've talked about it. The governor has promised that. UIA has promised that would be the way. But this bill would make it statute, make it law. Hey, if between these dates, when all of this happened during the pandemic, if the state of Michigan did something in error that you thought in good faith you were getting, you are not going to have to repay that. So I salute Representative DeMoose for that, and I'm assuming in Oversight we'll be voting on that next week. What else is going on? Yesterday as well, I sat in on it was, I'll call it a town hall, but it was a meeting with community mental health folks. And Mary Whiteford, Representative Mary Whiteford, who is the appropriations chair for DHHS, was there because she's got a series of bills that would revamp community mental health and its funding in its structure. And there's a lot, and then the Senate has a plan too that's out there. And Mary was out explaining her bill or bills, and because whenever there's change, people rightfully get, wait a minute here, what's going on? And so Rep. Whiteford was there, and I learned a ton listening because Mary, I said this in the meeting, this is an example of why term limits, we need to extend them. I know we'll never get rid of them. We need to extend them. In Michigan, they're way too short. Here's Mary Whiteford. She is a nurse by trade. She has been, I think, 4 years now. She's in her fifth year, I think it is. Anyway, she's been appropriations chair at DHHS for 4 years. She's got this medical background. I was listening to her. She knows so much about this issue. And next year will be her last, and she's gone. Whether her people in her district want her to stay, whether she is in a great spot running that budget, doesn't matter. Michigan law says, boop, gotta go. Don't matter how good you are, gone. So, again, that's why we need to extend term limits, because you just learn how the system works and you're gone. I always say, think about it this way. Wherever you work, every 2 years, a third of your workforce, including management, gone. and you got to bring in new people and train them. It's not good. We lose a ton of institutional knowledge. Rep. Whiteford with DHHS is an example. So anyway, it's a good plan. I really like it. I think the people with the Benzie, Manistee, Community Mental Health were on board, thinking, if they had some great suggestions too, and Mary was taking notes. So I think she's hoping to have something done by the end, sometime in October, and get it voted on. And it'll be interesting to see. A lot of good things there. So I know there's a lot of worry about community mental health. And the other thing that was discussed is, hey, do we need to have one mental health plan, obviously, and programs, but we need to have an urban plan and a rural look at things, because in 1 square mile downstate could have a zillion people, where up here it takes 4 counties to equal that amount of people. So we need to maybe have a different approach in structure to rural to urban, and Mary was very agreeable to that, and I think there was some good discussion there, because Benzie County is not Wayne County. And to try and say, well, what works there would work here in structure might not be the truth. As they were saying with the mental health, our counties and our different community mental health folks, they share so many resources, because one group can't afford it or make it work, because they don't have enough people. But when you bring it together as a region, it does. So a lot of good discussion there. And as I said, I learned a lot. Also, the speaker, Jason Wentworth, tasked yours truly and Scott Van Single, who is the chair of the Transportation Appropriations, and I'm Transportation Policy. We're putting together a work group, and we're going to look at how Michigan can move forward in the electric vehicle world. Nobody can really tell you when it's all going to start. There's lots of predictions, when it's going to be 100% electric vehicle, but we are headed that way. It's going to take a long time for gas-powered vehicles to taper out, because A, they're still making them, and there's millions of them out there, and they're not going to just disappear. But the key thing here is the gas revenue that pays for our roads is going down. So how do we look at that? And it's better we start looking at that now than, 6, 8 years from now, when it's like, what do we do? We have to figure something out. So I'm really excited about this work group. We're going to bring in stakeholders and say, all right, because I believe one of the ways to make business work is for government to get out of the way. It's not to say we don't have regulations and things, but you get out of the way. And I want to make sure that Michigan is poised and ready. What regulation do we need? What regulations don't we need? What infrastructure do we need? Where should infrastructure go, as opposed to what a certain group wants? So our little group is going to be looking at a lot of things, and I think it'll be interesting. And I'll update you as to what we're learning as we go. And then one more thing here, and I'm going to try and keep this to 10 minutes, because I think that's a fair amount of time. There's been all sorts of questions and concerns about vaccine mandates and mask mandates. We've talked about this many, many, many times, but President Biden has stepped in the puddle with this idea of, employers of 100 people or more have to have mandated vaccines. The problem with that is there are so many exceptions to that. And how can the government tell you what to do in that regard? Again, I think, and I know the keyboard pounders won't hear me all the way through here. I think you should get the vaccine if you're able, right? You don't have pre-existing health conditions or something like that, and you're willing. No mandates, but yes, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, I would strongly urge you to do it for all the reasons you've heard. But I'm not going to mandate you to do that. And I think that we are, one of the things I've heard about Biden's issue is that it's on very shaky legal grounds. And nothing takes effect until the Department of Labor writes up their rules. And I understand that there are, dozens of lawsuits poised to fire, but you can't sue until you know what the rules are. So until the Department of Labor issues those rules, The lawsuits are pending, but not filed, as I understand it. There might be an exception there somewhere that I'm unaware of. But so hang in there. Those things are being discussed. One of the ironies about all of this is, if the government mandates it, let's say, okay, they mandate it, unless there's an agreement that says you don't have to. For example, I was reading, just all I know is from what I read in the article, the University of Michigan is mandating that all its employees get vaccinated. The hospital employees get vaccinated. Unless you're a unionized nurse, because they have it in their collective bargaining agreement, you can't force them. So how is that fair? So we are in very interesting times, and I know we've got people, you've got to get vaccinated. Hell no, I'm not getting vaccinated. And or masks, we go to all of that too. So again, vaccination, please, if you're able and willing, talk to your doctor. And I would suggest you get vaccinated. But hear me out. I'm not for mandates. And so we'll see what happens on the federal level with Biden and his thing. But we need rules from the Department of Labor before anybody can sue. Once those rules come out, get ready. Because I think there will be a flurry of lawsuits. And I'm told it's on very, very shaky ground. So we'll see. So yes, be concerned. Yes, watch. But I don't know if Biden's going to get his way on this one. And Biden is on shaky ground on a lot of things. So, all right, with that, be safe, be careful. And I'll update you on the budget when I have something, and I'll keep you updated on the electric vehicle work group that we have, because that's a very interesting, and Michigan is poised. Where are we at with that? We are the automotive capital of the world. Can we stay there? So it'll be interesting. I want to make sure Michigan does. We keep those quality jobs here. So with that, I'm going to say have a good one. Sorry I'm a few hours late on a Thursday morning, but I did want to update you. All right, so be safe, have fun, enjoy this great fall weather that we're experiencing, at least today. All right, take care.